Hi, Eunice. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad to see you again. How are
Oh
you?
my goodness. I love like when I get to see you. It's just the highlight of my day. I feel like I tell you that every day, but I like
Yeah.
really mean it. So I just wanted to just like let you know again, like so appreciative of you.
Mm,
So we wanted to do something different today,
yeah.
and I always like different because that means like I get to grow as a person. That means we get to experience something new with you and our audience.
Mm,
And so what we're going to introduce is that behind being the real you, there's
mm,
aspects of our true self or aspects of our current self right now that we've just been having limits and stories around our limits and stories around our struggles, and we accept that we have these struggles. We accept that we have these like
mm,
negative self-talk that pulls us down, but we also have the power to shatter those limits. We also have the power to recognize that we can break free from that. So before we dive in,
mm.
um, and I know you have so much to say about that as well. I wanted to ask you um, my connection card deck question.
Yay! Okay, let's have that.
Okay, are you ready? Okay, so today's
Yes, yes,
question of the
yes.
day is, what have I tried for the first
Mhm,
time
mhm.
within the last year?
This last year, I'm so glad that I have encountered like being mindful of myself and doing manifestation
Mm,
just like really constantly. I haven't done that before. I've done journaling, I've done everything like
mhm,
writing down my feeling, this kind of stuff.
mhm,
But what I really am just very proud of myself is just being able to like at first I was really very hesitant to like to it every single day. But after I realized the importance of it, I'm doing it in everything that I'm doing right now. Even right now
mm,
that I'm like we're talking, I'm still trying
mhm.
to immerse myself in being mindful and how I can love myself more and appreciate myself more. And that's all thanks to you. Thank you for continually encouraging me to like be to love myself and become my higher self.
Oh, oh, I I forgot that was like your first time like doing like learning the process of manifestation.
Yeah.
But you were so eager. You were like so eager. And I love that I got to like share my own perspective of what manifestation is and my own perspective
Yes.
of like um that it's really not just out there. We're like waiting for it and we're
Mm,
like using your imagination, but it's really like right now we get to immerse ourselves in um, feeling connected to yourself, feeling love from yourself, and using your imagination to believe that
mhm,
it's coming true. Um, that makes me so
mm.
happy.
How about you? What's like the first thing that you've ever done for the past year?
Actually, this year has been all about first, like not thinking
Oh.
about it.
Mhm,
Like I feel like the prior to this, prior
mhm,
to 2023, it was like I was in a place of I was getting really good at things. I was getting really good at like, you know,
mm,
coaching, like athletically with my workouts and just like how I just um thought that was like my level of like how my level of what was comfortable, my level of as well as what I thought was just how I was going to continue living my life.
mhm,
Um, so I knew that I needed a change because I knew
mm,
that I was starting to feel restless. I knew that I was starting
mhm,
to feel a, I miss the desire of being like, oh, this is like something that I really feel excited about, and like I
mhm,
wanted to be consumed by something in a way that like I knew like this was my new purpose.
mm.
So what I've tried for the first time with the master is okay, here we go. So one
Okay,
is
cool.
being a part of like this coaching program for learning how to be a speaker. So just to make the decision to be like,
Mm,
oh, I'm gonna like pursue like being a professional speaker. I'm
mhm,
gonna pursue understanding how to like just improve in communication.
mhm,
Um, I like had to go, speak in front of a small group of people as well.
mhm,
And so like I would say like that's the main one, but I
mhm,
feel
mhm.
like other aspects of me that what I've tried for the first time with the master is like one, I've hired you. Um,
Yes.
and so I think that what most people don't realize is they only see me in like coach joy, right? Like coach, like facilitating, helping women. But like on the back
Mhm.
end, like other things that I've tried for the first time is like putting more time into writing, putting more time into creating
Mm.
these like inspirational products, you know, these digital products. And I've given myself permission, I would say, is just to accept that I can be an amazing creator in whatever facet. It could be
Mm.
through writing for a workbook, you know, creating things with you,
Mm.
creating this podcast with you, you know, creating um, a signature talk, a speech, so that I can speak to other people. So I really believe it's like I'm I'm growing my roots as being a creator,
Mm.
um, and it's exhilarating and exciting and full of fear at times and overwhelming. And but like you told me, I think you told me like new beginnings aren't going to be easy. They're
Yeah.
just you just haven't you're just not experienced.
Yeah, and everything it's just like it's very hard at first and you will feel like, "Oh, it's getting easier." No, it's not getting easier, you're just getting better. So you just really
Mhm,
have to
mhm.
continue doing what you want to do. And you'll get there soon. And I'm happy for you and I'm so happy that I'm still and you're keeping me and to be
Oh,
with you.
absolutely.
Pro-
Absolutely. 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 Yeah, in a heartbeat. Just for our relationship on across the board. Um, a shared joy is a double joy.
yes.
Okay, so because we've tried, you know, because
Mhm,
of us trying or in pursuit of our like definite purpose,
mhm,
um,
mhm,
you know, we both have goals that we are really,
mhm,
really inspired, as well as they're
mhm,
larger than what we've usually gone for before. So that,
mhm,
you know, causes excitement and it's huge desire, and it also causes a
that's
moment
true.
of like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into?
That's totally
The
true.
The fear, right? I mean, what else
Mhm.
emotions what have you overcome, or what other emotions have you experienced that like have come up in taking these steps of manifestation and like thinking bigger um and just like putting yourself in these new skills that you're learning with me?
I so love like the process is like I so love that I acknowledged everything. I acknowledge all my lacking. Everything that I lack. Like the time you sent me the email like we're going to have like a growth meeting and you please write down all of these things that you don't want like you want to leave the past behind and these are like the things that like you're envisioning yourself into and it's like should I deep dive on how I hate myself and that's who I was before like I totally hate where I am I totally hate who I am and then I realized that I accept all those things and it's hard to accept that I hate all of those things I have a lot of those insecurities in mind but after accepting and acknowledging it it's like yes I know you hate yourself but there's a good thing in there we're just going to the
Mhm.
exciting part after you accept that after you accept those that you've hated about yourself for the longest time you can love yourself now and that's what I'm doing I'm
Mhm.
continuously loving myself and just being mindful on what really matters if that actually
Mhm.
like my if I really matter about before longed I craved for like appreciation like
Mhm.
congratulatory messages like if
Mhm.
you have those all of those like wow you're so good you're so great you're so smart those kind of things I'll be like
Mhm.
so happy but I didn't realize that was ego I was feeding my
Mhm.
ego it's became bigger and bigger and then just one failure it poofed everything out my ego was like really
Mhm.
blasted out and I had those self-esteem moments and that's really
Mhm.
very hard, but I'm so happy you came at the right time. Like after all,
Mhm.
after I experience all of those things, like after I experience all those like past like relationships, like past
Mhm.
like work experiences, like really
Mhm.
what's really happening into my life. I'm just really happy that you came into the right time and just tell me and accepted me as I am. And
Mhm.
that really
Mhm.
is something that I will really cherish for the rest of my life, because with that I
Mm,
started to pivot to like shatter all of like the old beliefs that I do have in my before. I
mhm,
just like something like, I am limitless, I am boundless, I can do everything I want. And I'm just really very happy that you
mhm,
included me in that dream, and we're including
mm,
more people now
mm,
into our dreams since we're starting this podcast. So we're just getting bigger, and that's all because of you.
mhm, mm. I receive. Um, you touched on so many things that I'm like, "Hey, do I wanna talk about like, her past, things that she struggled with?" But I wanna just, like, really focus on you did say something like, you're like, "Oh, I shattered my old beliefs."
Mhm,
So I wanted you to, like, either expand on, like, what were some, like, old beliefs and
mhm,
limits, or maybe some type of, like, scenarios that you had in your mind. Because come
mhm,
on, like, our ego self-talk creates these, like, racing stories or racing
mhm,
scenarios. So describe it, because maybe that for someone else, that's, like, is a normal part of their life right now, and they might not recognize that it's just, a belief that they can shatter or a belief that they can remove.
the first belief that I like totally shatter was like, I can work from home. I'll take care of my daughter. And I
Mhm,
was like, really, I've been in like the freelancing journey for the rest, for around 5 to 6 years, and it's
mhm,
really like like the hustle and bustle. If you hustle, then
mhm,
your money will bustle. But if you actually
mhm,
didn't hustle, like your money will like, oh my goodness, this is the only thing that I do have. And um I'm always being told that there's more to you're going to get more benefits in getting like a normal job, a normal job like 8 to 5
mhm,
job. Then you're going to have like all of those benefits. But for me myself, I really want to take care of my daughter first. Like
mhm,
she's like my top priority. Like in the food chain, she's like the top post, like important for me.
mhm,
So I was like thinking I want to take care of her, and I was also became I was a virtual assistant, like, but it's not sustainable for me, and I'm really very sorry to all of those like clients that I do have, because I was able to give my all, but I think I can still give more to it if I am not constrained with those. But actually
mhm,
it's not constrained, but I think
mhm,
those are like my limiting beliefs. I'm just thinking of all of those things. That's why it's happening. And then I
mhm,
need to like transfer from one job to another, and then after like being transferred from one client to another, I was like thinking, should I just go back to the normal
mm,
job, to like the normal thing, like work 8 hour job like for five
mhm,
days so that I can support my family. And then
mhm.
you came. And then the interview was not the most ideal interview. And if you're going to like would like to know more about it, you can watch our like previous episodes and to know what
Yeah,
actually happened. So it's still what happened was like Joy was interviewing me and my daughter came in and I have to take care of her. So I really thought that was like a disaster. And she accepted me. Here I am, 7 months after. I'm still working
yeah,
for her. I'm still working with her actually. She doesn't want me to work for her. She wants me to work with her.
with
And
her, yeah.
I was like just really happy. I can take care of my daughter if I need to, and I can
Mhm,
do my like my focus work, like really
mhm,
100% focus work when I needed to. So yes, that's like the topmost I
mhm,
shattered my beliefs, and after I shatter those limits, I think everything else followed, like my belief in
mhm,
myself and how I could be a
mm,
mother, how can I be a daughter, how I can be a
mhm,
wife, and it encompasses. I think if you just like have like if you believe in yourself and you shatter those limits, you'll be able to see like, oh, all of my
mhm,
possibilities are boundless. It's not just this.
mhm,
I'm not usually I was actually raised like you do not have a choice. We have this, so this is our choice. But right
yeah,
now, yes, we are limited to this, but we can try to find another way to reach what I
mhm,
really wanted. So that's really powerful.
mm.
Thank you for like teaching me to reach that level of like experience. So yeah.
I I think what you are sharing, I think a lot of people can relate of like, I felt I feel obligated to do this job, right? I
Mhm,
always like go when I feel really stressed, I always remember like, okay, God, thank you so much for this
mhm,
opportunity to do this job, to do this position,
mhm,
to do this leadership. Allow me to remember that, right? And so,
mhm,
your story is so relatable because I even remember like going to positions before I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go, like feeling obligated with, all the financial and, all of our
mhm,
own type of responsibilities that we have attached to it. But you brought something in the storyline because whenever we have a belief that we're like, I want this, I need this is going to happen, it must happen, like those kind of
mhm,
like focused determination, I call it, where it's like this has to happen, and I'm going to
mhm,
continue believing that is going to happen by me doing these, moving these steps forward. But there's always that one little like boomerang that comes in every type of like when as you're moving forward with your
yes.
beliefs is maybe I should just go back, right? Maybe I should just
Uh,
retreat. Maybe I don't have the bandwidth to continue
mhm,
believing that this is possible. Maybe I should just, I should just give up. Like this is like delusional or this is impossible.
mhm,
And when those questions come in, because they're normal, they're valid,
mhm,
um, I always remember like telling myself, like, I'm worth it. I'm worth
mhm,
it. So for you to just like you recognize that you had those questions come up, right? They're called doubt.
mhm,
They're called, temptation, they're called persuasion, they're called
mhm,
negotiating, they're called
mhm,
just like, just shrink it down. Just shrink
mhm.
it down, like, all of those are the same words, I always call it, like, different gift wrapping.
Oh.
Um, just it's just disguises trying to remind you, like, don't fully believe in this.
Mhm.
Because our
And
brain does not like being, like, jeopardized, it doesn't like risk, it doesn't like being
mhm,
embarrassed, including your ego, right? Like you even talked
mhm,
about
yes.
earlier.
And I think I've read in Think and Grow Rich, indecision and procrastinations are twins. So if you actually
Mm,
delve into them, like if you like, oh, I can't decide which I really wanted, and I'll just put past this. I think it will work late. I will work on it later and think about it later. You will not be able to do the things that you wanted. So if you
mhm.
are someone who are like you don't think you are in the right position and you're still procrastinating, but you really wanted it, just go for it, dive for it. I know it
Right.
will be a hard like path, but if you really set your mind into it, like what you're doing, and most especially Joy, she's been doing this for the last 5 to 6 years, and I think it's more than that, and she's still going.
Mhm.
And look where she
Yeah.
is now. So I'm just really so happy. So I'm excited about your story about that. Can you tell me about it?
Okay, so I'm gonna do my most recent shatter your limits or
Mhm,
shatter my limits because I believe we're always ongoing shattering new
mhm.
beliefs about ourselves that we're like,
So true.
I've been holding myself back, or I know
Mhm,
I'm holding myself back, but I still feel really identified, or I don't see it's
mhm,
possible. So my two lately have been self-sabotage voice and then
mhm,
imposter emotions. And
mhm.
they're like best friends. They're like
Oh my
they're
goodness.
they're like the two rascals. They're like the two rascals that just come up like as cockroaches, when you're just like so self-sabotage, it comes up when you believe you're not ready, you're not prepared,
Mhm,
or you believe you don't really deserve it. Um,
mhm,
and so self-sabotage that it came up last week was I was in the process of being like, okay, I'm gonna finish this writing piece and then I'm gonna
mhm,
do a recording that we're gonna upload to
mhm,
YouTube. And like I just kept feeling self-sabotage, just being like, I don't think we can do this anymore. Like, do you
my
know who you
god.
are? Like, I'll tell you
Mhm,
out right now, I'll tell you all the self-talk that came out. It was like, do you really know who you are? Do you really believe in
mhm,
yourself? Like how you really believe in
mhm,
yourself? Do you have what it takes? It's just you and
mhm,
Eunice. It's just like two people. Do you think these women are gonna believe in you? Um,
mhm,
I don't think we're ready enough. I think we need to like learn more. Um, I don't know if I deserve this. Like, what do I really deserve? You know, being
Mhm.
able to help all these women. So this is all coming out. I'm like driving in my car on onto the freeway, and it's in like 405 traffic, which means like gridlock. Like cars, there's cars next to me, and I'm like bawling. I call it, it's like the soul bawling. Like the soul is
Mm.
releasing, you know, because
Mm.
I'm allowing myself to have these emotions come up to surface first. And then I'm allowing myself to just honestly just be like, why are you feeling afraid? Like, why do you think, or, you know, why are you having these thoughts?
Mhm.
I just let it come to surface. Um, and it just came back to just being like, I'm worth it. Like, I'm worth
Mm.
keep going. I'm worthing to seeing this through. And I think who I was, like, and so then the very next day, no, so 2 days later, actually,
Mhm.
um, I actually drove to see one of my close friends in LA. And this where I drove past was the apartment units where I used to live when I originally moved to LA. So this was
Oh,
like in 2000, it was 2012 to
that's
2013. So I'm like, I'm already, you know, I've overcome the self-sabotage because I just knew it was self-sabotage, but I
mhm.
wasn't like identified by it. Like, sure, I felt emotional, but I knew that I was worth it. Like, I knew my dream
Mhm.
needed to be expressed. I knew that I need to keep going because I believe that this is meant to help more people. You know, I
Mhm.
knew that I'm capable. I have like all these amazing strengths. So I kept saying, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. So
Mhm.
driving now, 2 days later after, you know, realize, you know, self-sabotage voice,
Mhm.
and as I'm driving and I'm like, wow, this place is so familiar. And I was like, I know this street.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so now
Oh.
I'm driving and the
Mhm.
apartment building that I used to live in, it's like yellow and black. So it's like very
Mhm.
distinct in LA.
Mhm.
And I'm driving past it. And I just remember having this like wave of emotions of being like all the memories of like
Mhm.
joy back then. So that's what 2012, 2013.
Mhm.
That's a 10, 10, 11
10,
years ago.
11 years, yes.
Yeah. So thinking of that joy, and I remember her, she was just starting that journey of like
Mm.
helping women with like food psychology and fitness psychology back then. Just, you know, really like I was working my mental health specialist job on top of like coaching women,
Mhm.
and I thought I was just starting like really being like, okay, I really want to continue helping women. So like, you know, I'm in the infancy of like dream, but at that moment back then, I would get
Mhm.
so overwhelmed. I didn't know how to like cope properly.
Mhm,
Like I
mhm,
would just feel all this anxiety.
mhm.
Um, and you know, I didn't know about meditation. I didn't, I
Mhm,
wasn't,
mhm.
I knew about meditation. I just wasn't practicing it then.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and so like thinking about myself back then and thinking where I'm at right now, I was just like, oh babe, thank you for just like having this deep belief that you knew you were gonna find a way to like help
Mhm,
more women, you know, overcome their emotions of doubt and overwhelm, fear, and not, you know, believing in themselves and feeling not enough
mhm.
all the time. And then she's looking at me in the car, being like, you know, she's just looking at me like, you had self-sabotage like 2 days ago, and you're like, and you look at you, you're like, you know, you're recognizing, you know, your worth, you're recognizing that
Mm.
this is your base, like, right? This is your timing of your. So I think the mean shatter the limit or like shatter the belief was recognizing that these emotions come to indicate to me like I need to
Mm.
address it to be like, hey, I hear you, but I'm still in the level of like power and authority over myself. You know, I'm the
Yes. Mhm,
master. And the whole time I wasn't like shunning myself down. I wasn't commanding myself to stop talking. I was allowing it to come to surface, but I
mhm,
knew I still had like a safety and security to being like, we are okay. So instead of feeling
mhm,
like I was drowning, you know, and I didn't know when I was gonna be able to like have hope again,
mm,
it was
mm.
like I had a life vest, but I was just like bobbing in the water. And the
Keep
life
going,
vest,
keep going.
yeah, you know, the life vest was just a representation of like me tapping,
Mm-hmm.
allowing myself to express all these things that ego wanted, to be heard, wanted
Mm-hmm.
some type of, predictability. And the life best was really like my relationship with God,
Mm-hmm.
and then the last part was like thinking about you and my boyfriend and my
Mm-hmm.
client being like, I've lost sight of who I really am in this current moment, just current moment. And they would tell me all my amazing strengths right now, or they would tell me something about they
Mm-hmm.
believe in me because they see me authentically. And I was like, I can just borrow that belief right now. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
just like one coping, solution leads to another one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they know that self-sabotage voice will come up again because
Mm-hmm.
it's it's scared. And then
Yes.
the imposter's other friend, Rascal, is like, we're not good enough. We're not confident enough, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a YouTube video and he just reframed imposter syndrome as that voice is instead of seeing that voice being like you suck, like you don't belong, like you're never good enough. He was like, what if you just saw the voice as like, hey, I don't want you to be complacent. I want you to be
Oh.
sharp. I want you to be sharper. I believe in you so much. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm learning to just continue to refine the definitions or the lenses of those emotions.
Mhm. And I think the core point in that is before you actually believe in everyone is saying, you have to believe in yourself. Because even
Mhm,
if a lot of people are like encouraging you, but
mhm,
you yourself don't believe in what you can do and what you can possibly do, then all of those words don't matter. Because if you realize, even if they're like a lot of people cheering for you, a lot of people are believing in you, but you
mhm,
yourself think like, oh, I'm not enough, I think I can't do this, you will see that that's what will really happen. But if you believe in yourself, if you think that all of these things are just passing, it is not permanent, these are like things that will help you build who you will be and who you wanted to be, and you just
mhm,
have to keep going, then you will realize that those people around, there are a lot of people around you who will
mhm,
support you if you want them
mhm,
to, because it's just boiling down to you supporting yourself, and all other people else will follow.
mhm. I like what you said though. You're like when you don't believe in yourself, it's it's like I always think of it as like a cup. Like when you don't believe in yourself, there's like all these holes in the cup. And people
Yes.
are like, I believe in you. I think you're amazing. You're so smart. You're so intelligent. But you did an amazing job today. Like
Mhm.
you're the best. And like it
Mhm.
just like keeps flowing out because
Yes.
you yourself don't believe that you are all those things as well. Um,
Mm.
but I also believe like when people say like, "Oh, I don't believe myself," I'm like, "But you believe in all these other things." So like you just need to
Oh.
you need to transfer that you do have the skill to believe.
Mhm. Mm. You just have to believe that you can believe that you can do all of these things, and you
Mhm,
are like, you are limitless, like you are boundless, you can do
mhm,
everything you want if you really wanted it to. And it's hard at first to believe in that because you're like, you're bonkers. Why are you thinking that? Where are you coming from that? But if you like read through the books, or if you just watch like the videos of like the successful people, a lot of people do not believe in them, that they can reach that pinnacle of success,
mhm,
because they are not like
mhm,
that always. A lot of them came
mhm,
from like low beginning, like a simple beginning, but
mhm,
they just dream that they can be something, that they can
mhm,
be something like someone extraordinary. And you can be that too. You just have to think of it that you should start believing first in yourself that you can do those kind of things, and all the other else will just come to you.
mhm, mhm,
Surprising.
mhm. I think there's like conscious beliefs, and then I think there's like unconscious beliefs,
Mhm.
and there's blind spots. So
Mhm. Oh, can you tell
conscious.
more about
Mhm.
that? Like conscious, subconscious, and like those blind spots. I
Okay,
think they would love
so
to learn.
um, conscious belief is when your mind's like, oh yeah, of course I can do that, right? So
Mhm.
let's do the scenario base. uh, what's something that you are currently like either like learning a new skill right now, or you have already learned the skill but now you want to master it more? What do you want to practice on?
I love ClickFunnels. Whenever like ClickFunnels, it's just like we're like at war last week, but right now we're
Mm-hmm.
like having a constant communication.
Okay, so you're learning a new skill of like basically creating this funnel, a sales funnel
Yes, yes,
for our
yes.
business. Okay, so your conscious belief can be positive and negative, or it can be mixed. So
Mhm.
your when I asked you to start the process, your conscious belief was what would you say immediately before you even like went into the program?
What is that?
Right?
Another application. I know I'm able to learn like a lot of applications like easily, but I
Mhm.
was like, what is that? Is that like HubSpot? Those kind of things where you have
Uh-huh.
to but like connect a lot of things. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that's hard.
So, right, conscious thought was like, "Ooh, that's hard," right? Like, immediately it was like, "Ooh, that's hard." Like, "Oh, I don't know what that is, and now I need to know what that is," right? Like, kinda like it's almost like a negative anticipation.
Mhm,
And so an unconscious belief
mhm.
is when it's just happening automatically in the background. So
Ooh.
so, as you're going through that process, because you were just diving in,
Mhm.
um, did you ever have any, like, some of these self-talks that just, like, came up that was saying, like, "You'll never be good at this."
Yes, yes, there's a lot.
Okay.
I
Okay,
it
keep going.
I was like, after like learning about like we have to use ClickFunnels. I was like, okay, research. They said I have to research, and I was like, since I was like really, I was like thinking it was hard. I was like thinking why they're not using ClickFunnels. Those are like the things that I'm seeing, and I was like, why am I seeing this kind of things instead of like learning
Mm,
how to do the things? I was learning how not to use the thing, and I was like, that
yeah,
is so
resistance.
bad. Yes,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was like, I should tell Joy we were not going to use it. That's what
Mhm,
I'm thinking,
mhm.
honestly.
Mhm. But I
Yeah.
already had my thinking rich, like definite
Yeah.
determination. Like, no, we're gonna use it. Okay, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
do rapid fire of like certain
Okay,
self
cool.
talks or unconscious beliefs that are coming up. Okay, so we said, do
Cool,
you think
cool.
it's gonna be hard, right? How
Mhm.
about this is taking fucking forever, or this is taking
Yes.
so long?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think I can succeed.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I'm afraid of disappointing Joy.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. I'm very disappointed at you, Eunice. So your own self, right? Saying, I'm
Yes.
very
Thank you.
disappointed in you.
Mhm.
I think I know. I think I'm more confused than when I started.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Either I have to quit, or either this is just going to be a continuous, long, hard process.
Oh, I didn't think of like quitting, but it was like, aha, it will be like a hard process for me.
Okay, so we'll stop there. So like unconscious beliefs, when we're in a whatever activity we're doing, it can be as
Mhm.
simple as doing chores, like taking out the trash,
Mhm.
and that unconscious
Yes.
thought, it just races through. It's like, this is dumb. Why am I the only one who does this? Right? That's an
Yes.
an, an unconscious thought is just something that's automatic and knee jerk. And
Mhm.
of course, it can be reshifted, right? Like change, and you
Mhm,
have a
mhm,
new type of belief and attitude. But we're not there right now.
mhm.
And so sometimes we don't even realize that they're just like little darts, little like
Yes.
rockets,
Yes.
because it's
Yes.
just it's so natural and
Natural.
familiar.
Yes. Mhm,
Mhm, mhm. But because you're learning about yourself
mhm,
and you don't like them, you have a such an attunement to your emotional
mhm,
body, your
mhm.
emotions. You're like, I feel agitated, so that means that it's connected to my mindset.
Yes. 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 And that's what I think that's what I realized, and that's what I'm growing into. With that,
Mhm.
I was like reading how will I learn about ClickFunnels, and I didn't watch the videos. I actually read a book on how to learn. So that I'll be able to like since I am detoxifying from all of those negative things that I'm reading, I read a book. After I read a book, like what are like the things that I need to do? Since I want to do like create a funnel, I list like the things that I needed to do. And it says like you
Mm.
have to deep dive on it. And like I was like thinking, "Ah, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to click on, what to do." And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, deep dive. He said, I just have to go through it. And I've gone through it and I was like, yes, it's hard at first. It's frustrating that it's like
Mhm.
happening. But the continuous process of just like trying to, since I want to deep dive on it, they said it's hard. And that's a feedback. It's hard at first because you do not know what's really happening. But once you learn more and just immerse yourself in that like hard feeling, you'll realize that the hard feeling that you're realizing right now, it's temporary. It's not
Mhm.
just, it's not over, just like you've said, it will be like a long process. And I think it's not, it doesn't only happen with ClickFunnels, most especially with Show It. It's a constant battle on how to do these things and that thing. But I really appreciate Joy. I think having someone who just understand you and appreciate you and just tell you you just have to do it on your own pace. If you just believe
Mhm.
it and continuously believe it that you can do it on your own pace. You don't have to rush things. You don't have to like, but you should tell to yourself you shouldn't procrastinate because it's
Yeah.
different if you're not rushing things and if you're procrastinating. If you're procrastinating, it means you can do it, but you're not just doing it. But rushing is you're trying the best that you can, but you're
Mm.
not still seeing the results that
Yeah.
you wanted. So yeah, you just really have to like do things, like do one step at a
Mhm.
time, because you can't reach step 100 if you just want to leave, unless you're like a master, like you can just like leave from 1 to 100. But if you're like ordinary people like us, you need to step like 1, 2, 3 before you can go
Mhm.
to 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you said about how at first it's hard and
Mhm.
how the temporary it's embracing that it's difficult, right? Like, acknowledging that it's
Yes.
difficult, but separating your own identity, like separating your own self-image as Eunice is like it's difficult, but I'm not gonna allow myself to be like, I'm a failure because it's difficult. Like I'm a loser
Yes.
because it's difficult. It's you separate it. You're just like, this is objectively a
Mhm.
task that I have no experience with. I have
Mhm.
there's a volume of things I need to learn from this, but that
Mhm.
this task alone is difficult. But I myself
Mhm.
understanding it. Like, do you see how like you have such a good like how you shatter that limit is like
Mhm.
you couldn't recognize the task objectively was difficult, but you weren't allowing yourself to be like, okay, this is a reflection of me. My self image is dependent on, I'm either a success or either I'm a disappointment. Like you were able to switch that. Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And I cannot do that without joy. Really, if you just have, if you see me like 7 months before, I'll be like, oh my goodness, I'll just quit. I'll just find a way to tell that I can't do these things.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
maybe they'll just let me go. But right now, I'm not seeing hard things as like a way to like end things or like quit things. Now I'm seeing hard
Mm.
things as an opportunity, like to learn more about myself and learn more on how I can develop it. Since I have a little one with me, I was like thinking, oh, I can teach this to her now, like those kind of stuff. And it's really fun. And it's also said in Ultra Learning by Scott Young. You should watch that. Not watch, but read it. If if you want to learn something, you should have like the intention to teach. Because if you have like the intention to teach what you're learning, you'll
Yeah.
absorb it more compared to just I just want to learn it.
That is so true. When I worked with kids,
Mhm,
that was like the first thing that I would do. I would teach them like how to
mhm,
cope with their emotions. And I would
mhm,
say, now teach Miss Joy, teach Miss Joy. And
mhm.
so I would be like, I'm the student, and you are going to get all our stuffed
Oh,
toys, and you're going to teach me what you're going to do when I'm angry. And so we would play this whole
oh,
role play. I'm angry, and they would teach me,
mhm,
okay, this is what you're gonna do. And
mhm,
anytime they would get a little flustered, like they didn't know what to do, I'd be like, oh, that's great. We learned all this right now. You learned how to tell me how to deep breathe. You learned that I need to like keep deep breathing. You told me that I need to like get I like reiterate the lesson. And there's something about when we teach something while we're learning it, like while we're reading it or we're listening to it, or maybe you're visual learning, there's a level of like a new responsibility being like, I must share this because this allows me to know how much I learn, right? How much I know.
Mm.
Um, there's also when you said that when the temporary moments are difficult, two things are
Mhm.
happening to your brain. One is you're allowing your brain to stretch to a new capacity of how much endurance, right? Endurance of
Yes.
focus, endurance of how am I going to cope while I'm learning this difficult task?
Mhm.
And that capacity grows because you have
Mhm.
more volume of time. So more volume of
Mhm.
time, volume means um, uh, amount of effort, right? It could be
Mhm.
effort. Volume means could be amount of minutes and hours that you're working on this difficult task. And so you procrastinating is zero if you want to just be
Mhm.
data wise, but like volume of you being like, hey, I did like 2 hours worth of a volume of like trying to understand this. You learned
Mhm.
all these little different things compared to like the procrastination part. Um,
Mhm.
and so when I ever had a moment of like where I had to shatter my own beliefs of being like, I suck at speaking, like
Oh my god.
I talk too fast, I'm not giving the right eye contact, like all I'm being self-critical, analyzing. But I
Mhm.
remember I'm like, that person that who's teaching me is so experienced because experience is
Oh. Mhm.
experiencing the volume of times over and over and over. And I'm just inexperienced, and that just means I need to practice. I need to like
Mhm.
go through the volume. And same thing with emotions, like learning
That's
to
true.
support yourself. That's just a volume of implementing practice, being like, okay, right now, oh, so uncomfortable doing a fresh start, but it's just
Totally.
the volume of being like, okay, I know as I go through this, I'm gonna feel calm, I'm gonna feel
Mhm.
focused. Um, so that's like one of my encouragements to you is that you're recognizing like you're just growing your volume.
Mhm. And I think with emotion, I think a lot of people would like connect with this because every time that we are so happy or we're sad or we're so angry, I think we use our emotion to make a decision, but we don't realize
Mm.
having like acknowledging our emotion is also a decision. And sometimes
Mhm.
we just let our emotions like let that get the best of us, and then after that you're like, ah, why did I do that? Why did I choose to do that? And just like you said, like realizing our emotion, acknowledging our emotion is not who our whole being is. Acknowledging, yes,
Mhm.
I am sad, but I will still choose. I am going to have this rational decision still. I'm
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
happy, but is this like the rational like thing to do? If it's not,
Mhm.
think of it again. Or if you're angry, in any emotions that you do have, don't let it get the best of you because you'll
Mhm.
realize that this is not a good thing. Should I back down? And those
Mhm.
procrastination, the indecision will just turn into a snowball and it
Mhm.
will just
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
bigger.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, so I like using emotions are indicators.
Mhm.
And so they're
Yes, yes.
indicating, so green means obviously like it's a green light, right? When you
Mhm,
feel positive, you're like, oh, this feels good to me. This feels healthy.
mhm,
This feels connecting to me. Yellow emotion would be, ooh, caution. I'm
mhm,
feeling
mhm,
agitated. I think everyone has their wavelength of emotions that are
yes.
yellow,
Mhm,
and sometimes we ignore the yellow, and so we
mhm,
hit a level of rock bottom, being like, whoa, like I why am I in this position? So that's red,
mhm,
right? Red is just
mhm,
like
mhm,
alarming, like please do something about it. So anytime
mhm,
I feel like like going to yellow, I immediately just stop and I'm like, okay, I don't want it to go full on derail me. I don't want there's people depending on me. I'm the solution. I'm the advocate. And so recognizing that we can prevent it from being as full blown, like a
mhm,
breakdown or really identified by it, um, or feeling like so lost and confused with our emotions. And I think what you
mhm,
said was like the preventative piece being like, okay, I'm feeling these emotions. It's okay, I acknowledge it, but
mhm,
this is the solution. How do I do this objectively?
mhm,
So that I can still help myself.
Yes.
Um, and so I know that it's sometimes hearing when I first heard this type of like philosophy method, I was like, they don't understand. Like, I'm an
That's so
empath.
true.
I'm so emotional. I'm always emotional. That's stoicism. That stuff is like code. Like I used to like, and I just recognized it was because I was so comfortable and familiar of always feeling an intense emotion because I
Mhm.
ignored all these
That's
other
true.
the other emotions prior, being like,
Mhm,
please, knock, knock,
mhm.
knock. So whenever an emotion comes up, I always think of it as like it's a doorbell or like a knock on the
Like,
door or like a
mhm.
little kid pulling on my shirt being like,
Hello.
"Anything?" Yeah. Um, so I think that you've like shared such great things about like shattering your beliefs and like your limits. I mean,
Mhm.
we can probably have like a part two on this.
Yes, let's do that one. Let's have
Yeah.
that one.
Do you wanna have like part two related to like your future or your like future
Yes,
dreams or like
let's have that.
yeah,
Since we've
yeah.
already shattered our limiting beliefs, let's have
Uh-huh.
like something that we can look forward into.
Yes, yes. Um, okay, so I would actually like want before we wrap up, I actually want to direct maybe a tapping session that you could either watch
Yes,
me and
yes.
I want to show the audience of like how I go through my process maybe with a
Mhm,
certain emotion or a certain belief that I've
mhm,
had in the past and like how to talk to
mhm.
myself. Um, so what do you think is should I do it on? Should I do it on like feeling imposter emotions or self-sabotage? What do you want me
Yes, let's
to
do that one. Let's yeah, let's solve both of it. And can I highlight you so that they can see you in full view?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Okay, so we are going to do a tapping session. Tapping is
Mhm,
emotional freedom technique. It's a process where all of our emotions are stored in our body, like our tissues, like our muscles.
mhm,
And certain emotions, when we tap on it, will release that emotion so we can feel relieved. The reason
mhm,
why I love tapping, I don't use it as often per se because I've helped
mhm,
regulate, like I helped stabilize my emotions. But prior, when I was very overwhelmed, I had a lot of anxiety. So anxiety was like
mhm,
lots of worry, thinking too far of like in the future, and like
mhm,
then going back in the past and thinking about my
mhm,
regrets. And so when we're in a constant state of all those kinds of emotions,
mhm,
physically, my nervous
mhm,
system is like, what's going on? I'm scared. I
mhm,
feel
mhm,
life is very uncertain. I feel like unsafe. I want to
mhm,
hide. I want to ignore this. And so I just
mhm,
started tapping like right here.
mhm.
So this part is called, I call it the calming center, but technically it's called carrot chop. And
Oh,
so when you tap there, this is where anxiety is usually stored. So whenever you feel anxious or feel worried, or
mm,
maybe you're getting
mhm.
tightness in your chest area, because sometimes
Yes.
we don't even
Mhm,
know the emotion, we just feel it.
mhm,
I
mhm.
just like tap here. So I'll even tap like in the car when I'm driving
Okay.
sometimes. I'll tap under desks for a
Mhm.
meeting. Luckily, I've never had to tap with you units because you're amazing. You're always like so calm. um, there are other specific points to tap. The other one is
Mhm,
your third eye that I usually
mhm,
love doing recently because the third eye connects you to your intuition, which is like your gut system.
mm,
If you're super creative, that's a good way to unlock. Here is your pineal gland, which a lot it's connected to again, right, to your brain.
mhm,
And a lot of emotions that is stored here is not feeling deserving. It's not feeling
mm,
enough and it makes sense because when we don't have um, a healthy relationship with ourselves, the first thing that we
mhm,
do is we ignore eye contact. We ignore eye
mm.
contact in the
That's
mirror.
so true. Mhm, mhm,
So if we're not even giving ourselves, specific eye contact in the morning or in the mirror,
mhm,
it makes sense that things get stored.
mhm,
Um, and same thing, just feeling stressed, right? We
mhm,
can't kind of like do that thing. So we're gonna tap here
mhm,
um, later on, but I always like to when I start my tapping session, I always start with
mhm,
acknowledging all the emotions,
Mm,
all the self-talk I'm having, and I start it here because I want my
okay.
body to know that it's safe. I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna close my eyes because I wanna, like, be connected to myself. That's the
Oh.
easiest and most natural way is to just close my eyes so I'm not distracted.
Mhm,
I will
mhm,
say that, tapping is something that you can do at any time, any place,
mhm,
independent. I do this at the gym. I don't care if people are looking at me because I know inside, like, I wanna feel connected to myself. I wanna hear myself, I wanna
mhm,
believe in
mhm,
myself. So, if I'm feeling a yellow emotion of like, "Ooh," like, just tap it right now so that I can
mhm.
just be fully present again.
Okay, cool.
Um so, like, we are gonna focus on a specific topic. So you can use this for any topic or
Mhm,
just
mhm,
something that comes up in the day. So for me, because I talked about self-sabotage and imposter emotions earlier, I
mhm,
want to show
mhm.
you how I tap, when it comes to that. So,
Yes.
so if you're ready, we're gonna I'm gonna do it live. By the way, this is
Mhm,
not scripted. I'm just intuitively just gonna use my own experiences. I'm gonna, share things that are my own personalized self-talk.
mhm, mhm,
But I would love for you to either, you can join me or you can just like, just listen along. It's an
mhm.
invitation.
Cool.
Okay, so
Okay.
here we go. Um, hello, hello, Joy. I am so glad that you're here with me. I know that
Mm,
right now you've experienced, all the emotions of self-sabotage, which is feeling unprepared or thinking you're not prepared or thinking you're not ready and
mm,
thinking that you need to learn more and that you need to do one more thing
mm,
to feel confident. And sometimes you
mhm,
even have the belief that maybe I'm not deserving of this. Like you even questioned yourself.
mm,
So I just want to acknowledge right now. That acknowledge means I just want to admit to you that I recognize that you have been experiencing these emotions, even if
mhm,
you haven't verbally said it. I know you've been thinking
mhm,
these thoughts sometimes. I know that
mm,
sometimes we just get so focused on working on this dream
mm,
and this goal. And I know that that is just lingering, but we need to verbally express it. So I'm just letting you know that it's okay that you felt that. It's okay that you thought those
mm,
thoughts. It's okay that
mm,
you felt even the doubt with it. And I'm
mm,
letting you know right now, this is your
mhm,
brand new breakthrough. This is your brand new fresh start. This is your new normal to start addressing your self-sabotage and your imposter
mm,
emotions. And I want to ask you, why do you believe that you felt that you wanted to self-sabotage? Or why did you think that self-sabotage was something that was just going to be a part of your life?
mm,
I think that I have used self-sabotage in the past, and I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that was self-sabotage. I just thought that was just a current way of, like, how I had to live, like, "Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. I need to know more," and it was just this frantic emotion, and I think that I was unaware of it, and so I forgive myself that I was unaware of it. I also thought that if only I learned more, then I would be able to feel safe. If only if I had more degrees, then I would feel worthy. If only if I was able to learn so much and speak confidently on what I learned, then I would believe in myself. And I created all these if then statements. If only I was just one more book ready, then I would really
mhm,
see myself of being like, I can do this. And so
mm,
I acknowledge right now that I've created so much limitations. I acknowledge that I
mhm,
created all these beliefs around if you do
mm,
this, then this will happen. And then if
mhm,
you don't do this, then this will happen. What would happen if you didn't if you didn't follow through? Well,
mm,
I believe the self-sabotage that if I wasn't ready, then I'd fail. If I wasn't prepared, then I'd embarrass myself. If I
mm,
wasn't if I didn't learn enough, um, if I didn't learn enough, then I would be considered a fool and an embarrassment. If I didn't learn
mm,
enough, then people would see that she doesn't know what she's talking about.
mm,
If I wasn't prepared enough, then I could be embarrassed. If
mm,
I didn't prepare enough and then learn enough and believe that I was capable enough, then I would just be ignored. Like I would be considered ordinary. I'd be the ultimate failure in my eyes. And I don't want to be a failure. So I kept feeling I just wasn't good enough either way. I wasn't good enough if I learned enough, and I wasn't good enough if I didn't do it. And I realize right now that's my blind spot. I realize that's the trap, that self sabotage and imposter emotions, they work together. They're working on telling me that I'm not enough and so I need to stop. And that's false evidence to me right now. It's false evidence because I have worked so hard on things that I am passionate about. I've dedicated my life and my time enjoyably. I have done all these things out of joy, out of impact. I thoroughly enjoy learning about these things. So I am enough. I am ready. And I know that I'm enough because it's not based upon what I do, it's based upon who I am. And who I am right now is enough. Who I am right now is whole. Who I am is complete. Who I am is in the process. Who I am is becoming, and becoming is a positive and powerful word for me. I know that self-sabotage and imposter emotions have told me so many scenarios that is so false. These scenarios are so wild. They'll tell me that like if I don't know enough, then I'm gonna embarrass myself. And that's never happened. Self-sabotage and imposter emotions have told me that I haven't achieved enough. And I know that that's a trap. I know that's a trap. I know that's an illusion. I know that's a trap because in my life right now, I can say that my proudest moments, the moments that have caused so much joy, aren't achievements. They're truly connecting with Eunice, connecting with myself, connecting with my boyfriend, connecting with my mom and dad. I look at those moments as my first moments of like, I'm proud of myself. I don't consider my achievements a part of my identity. They're in my life, but they aren't on the pedestal that makes me enough. So right now is my brand new breakthrough, my brand new fresh start, my new way of living. I have a new current updated self-image that self-sabotage and imposter emotions have no place in my life. It is repulsive. It is very harmful to me. It's very hurtful to me. It derails me. It affects my relationships with myself, affects relationships with my friends, affects my relationship with my community. If I believe in imposter emotions, if I believe in sabotage, because I won't arise. Every self-sabotage and imposter emotions are literally telling me to wait. It's literally telling me to run away. It's literally telling me to be a coward. I don't stand for being a coward. I stand that I can be authentically audacious. And being authentically audacious means that I can be expressive of my message. I can be expressive of my beliefs. I can be expressive in my confidence. I can be expressive in my convictions on my timing, on my voice, on my way. So from now on, from moving forward, I no longer resonate. I no longer allow that in my life. And I know that from this moment forth, the next solution is I am an advocate for myself. I am a solution, and that it's safe and free to be myself in this life, in this moment right now. So I forgive you, Joy. I love you, Joy. I believe in you. I'm so grateful that you've been able to express this. And right now is your brand new breakthrough. Amen.
I'm so sorry. I'm actually like touching my nose. It's just like so.
It's totally okay. It's totally okay. I was obviously in my element.
I so
Um,
love that. I so love how you've shared everything, and it's very
mhm,
raw. That's what you're feeling
mhm,
exactly right
mhm,
now.
mhm.
And yes, you're about to share more. Sorry about that.
No, it's totally okay. You can tell that when you do this EFT tapping or self-talk process or changing your beliefs, it's going to be like, oh, I'm on this journey or I'm on having this breakthrough, and it takes you to another belief that's like pulling you in this direction, and I just go with it because that means it's a
Mhm.
belief that I didn't fully address yet. So it's I guide versus step by step.
Mhm. Mhm. That is so
Um,
cool. And those are
so
like the exact feelings that you're like happening. So
yes.
if they are like thinking, how will I do that? I don't know how to start. Just try to talk to yourself and immerse yourself and try to say to yourself what you accept what you really want to say. And I think
Mhm,
everything else will flow, like how you can
mhm,
encourage yourself and how you can
mhm,
tell people, tell yourself what you're feeling right now and accept it as it
mhm,
is.
mhm, mhm, completely. One last part of it is
Cool.
every person, as you shatter every belief, is you have to create a new command, which is I do not
Mhm.
resonate. It is
Mhm.
harmful. It, because these beliefs are harmful to us, right? They're
Yes.
harming how I want to continue forward, right? I know it seems so extreme to say a belief is
Mhm,
harmful or a belief is
mhm,
hurtful or belief
mhm, mhm,
affects my relationships with you, but it does. It complete. That's
mhm,
how connected I am with you, connected to people that I really want to help, connected to my relationship with my boyfriend. That if, when I'm in my self sabotage, I'm so
so
withdrawn,
mhm,
and it changes my dynamic with you. It changes how I want to like show up for the world and for you.
mhm,
Um, and I think it's okay to feel those emotions, but I don't want it to be affecting the quality of a relationship that I know that I want to continue to be poured into my life, important to you.
mhm,
So I'm very like very convicted when it's like I tell my belief this no longer resonates because I'm just basically telling a new command, right? Like it's like
mhm.
putting a stop sign and an exit, being like, "Do not enter,
Yes,
exit."
so it's true.
Um,
Mhm. So
because
what is
now your
something
brain.
mhm,
Okay.
what is something that you don't believe now? That's something like is like a closed road for you now.
I think now it's like a quicker frying, being like, "Oh, that's a trap," like
Mhm.
self-sabotage
Ooh. Mhm,
and
mhm,
and then past emotions. It's a trap. Because it's like what I said. It was coming out. I'm like, it's a trap. It's telling me to run away. It's telling me to be a coward. It's telling me to give up. And so it's like I would say that was like a real strong,
mhm,
um, wrong voice. I was like, oh, no way. I don't identify with this. There was also this gentleness of being like, wow, I was unaware. I was unaware for a while.
mm,
Mhm, mhm,
mhm,
mhm. So I was like having the sense of like, I felt um, allow those emotions to be like, I'm humbled and I'm
mhm,
sorry and
mm.
and I forgive you. Mhm,
That is so true. And for me, I do not believe in those limits now. I'm still working on it. So those
mhm,
beliefs, those limiting beliefs no longer hold me. I do not believe in limits now. So if other people will tell me no, I will think to myself, is that a real no for me too? Is that a no for me or no for them? So if you just
mhm,
realize that it's a no for them but yes for you, believe in yourself, because at the end of the day
mhm,
you will be the only person who will believe in yourself. Those people will just give those remarks out of because you ask them or because they think that's necessary to tell you, but that doesn't resonate who you really are. You just trust yourself,
mhm.
believe in yourself that you can do these things, and everything else will follow.
Mm, what a such a good, like, discussion we had. Do you
Yes.
wanna we could do the final wrap-ups or
Mhm.
takeaways or last
Yes.
encouragement?
Yes, yes, let's do that. My last takeaway is if you have this like limiting beliefs or these things that are you're thinking how you believe in things, try to think to yourself first. Like, if is this really limiting my belief because I wanted it or I need it? Or be just because I believe it. This I've believed it for a long period of time. So if
Mm,
you do think that it's just you telling yourself no, try to think again, is this like the version that I really wanted 5 years from now? If it is a
mm,
no, If this is like the version of you that you just wanted right now because it's safe, it is secure, then do you want to be safe and secure after 5 years or after 10 years? If not, then try to take a dive and you'll see what will happen in the future.
I like that reflection question. That's so good.
Hmm.
I'm going to do from the book, um,
Yes. Mhm.
Choose the Life You Want, The Mindful Way of
Oh.
Happiness. I'm going to read the I'm going to read the quote again, the one that we
Yes.
talked about
Yes.
earlier, because I feel like this is just the final conclusion.
Yeah.
Um, so let's do it. Uh, Here we go. I have it. It's right. Um, so funny. I thought I had it here.
It's okay. Take your time.
Thank you. It was on chapter right after chapter one. Okay, I have it. If
Yay.
any,
Cool.
okay, so here's a quote. Choice
Mhm.
is creation. To choose is
Mhm.
to create. Through my choices, I create my reality. At
Mhm.
every moment in my life, I have a choice. Moments add up to a lifetime. Choices add up to a life. What kind of life do I want for myself, and what choices will create this kind of life? I also would love to insert, instead of putting choice as a creation, you can put your beliefs is a creation.
Yes. I think everything is a creation just coming from your mind. Those
Mhm,
beliefs, those everything that is negative that is pulling you back, those are just
mhm,
choices. And it's your
mhm,
choice. You think you do not have a choice, but think again. Everything. You
mhm,
were like given free will by God. So even if you do think it's a no choice, there's still something that will lead you to another path. Although it's not paved, although there are no rocks in it and you have to clear the way, but still it is a way. So
mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
just
mhm.
try to choose which one do you want to go to.
Mm, so encouraging, Eunice. Thank you so much for just sharing your story about how you just shattered multiple,
Mm.
beliefs and limits. And we're going to continue this series as
Yeah.
well. Um, but it's always such a like, oh, best part of my day
Yes, thank you. Me
is
too.
with you. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
It's always like a
Um,
recharge for the day. Sorry.
Completely, completely. By the way, Eunice lives in the Philippines, so when we coordinate to record, it is late afternoon for me, and guess what time it is for her?
It's morning. It's morning. Early. Like it's 7:30 in the morning. Oh no, it's
Yeah,
8:30 now. 8:30 in the
yeah.
morning.
There's we've overcome our own limiting beliefs when it comes to when we meet up. So besides that, though, are you ready to just do the final wrap up and prayer?
Yes, yes, let's do this.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Mm, Dear God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this very moment. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to speak on things that have held so tightly in me that I wanted to share for so long on self sabotage and imposter emotions and beliefs and overcoming our beliefs. And we just know that the message is just going to resonate and hit home to the ones that really needed it. And may it be a way that inspires action and inspires support and allows them to be hungry and seek
Mhm,
resources and ways that they can have an honest reflection with themselves that
mhm,
brings them back to feeling connected to themselves, that brings them back to feeling
mhm,
like I deserve my belief to be as
mhm,
positive and to
mhm,
design the life that I know that
mhm,
is true to me. And we know
mhm,
that every person's at a different journey, but that means that it's uniquely their own. And
mhm,
we honor that right now. We honor
mhm.
all of the things that have brought them here. So we are so grateful for that, Lord. And so we just lift up everything to you right now. Amen.
Thank you so much, Lord, for this beautiful and wonderful day you have given us. Thank you for showering us with all of those insights, all of those words that were given right now. We're all coming from you. We thank you for that. Thank you for always guiding us to reach the right people, to reach those people who really need our help and seek for this encouraging words and who seek for your love and care. Thank you so much, Lord, for just preparing us, preparing every one of us to just be in your loving presence, to be in your cradle of peace. Thank you for always giving us those words of encouragement, those joyful thoughts that we're just seeing randomly each and every quarter of our houses, even on a social media. Thank you for just showing us all of those positive things. Thank you for blessing everyone with good health. And if this reach a person, or if anyone who's listening this who has a burden, who is sick, who is thinking that they are not enough, thinking that they can't do it anymore, thinking that they have given everything but no one appreciates them, thinking that no one loves them. Lord, please touch them. Please tell them that there is someone in the world. You and I, Joy and I, you, of course, Lord, are always there to support them. And we're just a message away if they can just put anything and just raise everything to you if they don't want to be known, or they just really want to thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you so much, Lord. We are here for you. We raise all our burdens, we raise all our pains, we raise all our sufferings and afflictions to you, because we know that you're going to help us through with this. Even though we do have a lot of problems and requests, I know you are always listening, and you always have a heart that always gives us everything that we want. So we raise everything to you, Lord. We love you so much, and thank you for always blessing us with your endless grace. We love you so much. Amen. Thank
Amen.
you.
Thank you.